play for you some of the comments from Burgess Owens, a retired NFL player, very effective. I didn't watch sports that much, but boy, I knew Burgess Owens' name. Used to hear it all the time. With the background, football games going on in the background as the rest of the family's watching football games, I could always hear Burgess Owens, Burgess Owens. Many playoffs, many championships. But he deserves it. And he has a lot of great things to say that are unifying, and really exposing how the Democrats are trying to divide us. Here's Burgess Owens.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm going to take a different tack from beginning. We are at this point, this is not about black and white, rich and poor, blue collar, white collar. We're fighting for the heart and soul of our nation. We have a very, very special country that started with the Judeo-Christian values that allowed every single generation to become better than the last. And that has not ended, that has not stopped until now. We're telling our kids a little bit something different, that they don't have the opportunities that we had. I'm going to talk about some ideologies. And when I talk about them, I'm not talking about people. People change. I used to be a Democrat until I did my history and found out the misery that party brought to my race. So when I talk about these ideologies don't change, people do. We are fighting for the heart and soul of our nation against socialism, Marxism, and the evil that it has brought to us and the stealing of our history. Karl Marx said it best, the father of socialism, an atheist, anti-Semite, and a blatant racist. Yet we teach his philosophy in our school systems today. He said it, the first battleground is rewriting of our history. You steal our history, you steal our pride in our past, our appreciation for our present, and our vision for our future. And every single urban city in our country is now experiencing that loss. Real quick history, because these are things that we're not taught. I'm blessed to be the great-great-grandfather of Silas Burgess. Came here in the belly of a slave ship, sold in Charleston, South Carolina with his mother, to the Burgess plantation. An evil, evil man that drove my great-great-great-grandmother either to leaving her family, her kids, or committing suicide. I don't know, she disappeared. But Silas at age of 8, was blessed to be surrounded by men who believed in freedom. Even though they were shackled, they escaped. They went the southern route of the Underground Railroad, facilitated by white and Mexican Americans. And he's made his way out south to Texas. He ended up being a successful entrepreneur, owning 102 acres of land, paid off in 2 years. Started the first black church, the first black elementary school. Pillar of his community, 18 kids, Christian, Republican. His first son was Alpha Omega. Proud American. An example of what happens when any race, any culture is given hope, opportunity, and freedom. It didn't end there, by the way. The history of our black country, of our black Americans, has been stolen from us for decades, almost over a century. Booker T. Washington, 1882, began Tuskegee University. By 1905, it was producing more self-made black millionaires than Harvard, Yale, and Princeton combined. The 40s, 50s, and 60s, it was a black community that led our country in the growth of the middle class, led our country in terms of men committed to marriage, over 70%, now it's 30%. Led our country in terms of the committed to business ownership, 40%, now it's 3.8%. Men matriculated from college. We now have a higher percentage of men incarcerated in college. It is, by the way, my degree was biology. And I learned a long time ago that slavery is not a gene in the DNA helix. It's our actions, it's our attitude, it's our belief. I do not believe in reparation, because what reparation does, it points to a certain race, a certain color, and it points them as evil, and points the other race, my race, as one that is not only becomes racist, but also beggars. I do believe in restitution. Let's point to the party that was part of slavery, KKK, Jim Crow, that has killed over 40% of our black babies, 20 million of them.
Well, that's spot on. Let's hold it right there. He's gone right down the list. Go back to KKK, Jim Crow. Look at abortion. He talks about how it is focused on the black family. Those statistics that he had there, he said back in the 40s and 50s and 60s, 70% of the families, black families, had a father there at the family. Now only 30% do. Why? What happened? Oh, well, you know, we had that war on poverty. We had a massive dependency that was established by the federal government. He's seen how that has worked out. Used to be 40% of them had businesses. 40% were entrepreneurs. Now only 3.8%. In other words, 1/10. They've cut down the number of black entrepreneurs. They've decimated it. It's actually worse than decimation. I mean, decimation, that came from the fact that we had insubordination in the Roman army. They would just take 1 out of every 10 guys and just kill them, right? As an example, dude, don't you desert your post? Don't you disobey orders or whatever? We'll just arbitrarily take every 10th person. No, I mean, they've taken 90%. That's 9 times worse than decimation, what they've done to the black community when it comes to their own businesses. He said, every bad thing that has happened to my race over the years goes right back to the Democratic Party. And he talks about how in other interview that he had yesterday, he said, we used to be very Christian-based. He said, my dad, my granddad, my great-grandfather worked too hard for their history to be forgotten. That's actually what it takes for this socialist, Marxist shadow. And it's all about reparations. That's all it is. It's another socialist way of getting people dependent, angry, and divided. You understand, when we're talking about socialism and Marxism, that is the tactic that they have followed, as I've said many times. In Europe, the division, the creating of grievances was all about creating different economic classes because everybody was essentially the same skin color, same ethnic group. That didn't work here in America. So you had the Marxists, like Bill Ayers and others, popularize with the Weather Underground white skin privilege. They decided they would divide us along race lines, and that is exactly what they're doing. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back. You know, we're going to get into this coming up in the next hour. Cuomo and the New York Democrats are lavishing illegal aliens with driver's licenses. And as I talked about briefly yesterday, we're going to get a little bit more into detail with it today. But the voters in upstate New York, everybody outside of New York City, were outraged about that. And now we have a rebellion brewing with clerks in upstate New York saying, we're not going to issue illegal immigrants driver's licenses. I mean, here in Texas, it's an exercise in Homeland Security compliance to get a driver's license. You're going to have all these different forms of ID cross-referenced. I don't know if it's that way in other states, but I tell you, when I moved here, even 7 years ago, I mean, it was like a full vetting. They came after me more than when I had to get a security clearance working as an engineer just to get a driver's license. But, you know, you're an illegal alien, that's fine. To Cuomo, but not to the clerks who are issuing the driver's licenses in upstate New York. We're going to talk about that coming up. And I want to get back to the comments. One more comment from Burgess Owens. Great statements that he made, both in that congressional testimony as well as in interviews afterwards. And then we're going to take a look at an Episcopal bishop that Tucker Carlson talked to. Actually, Tucker Carlson, I think he said in the interview, he said, yeah, I'm Episcopal. I'm part of your, the same area here. He knew how much money they had. And so he goes to that church as well. But it's absolutely amazing what this black Episcopal bishop says. He says, white people need reparations for their soul. This is a bishop that doesn't even know what the gospel is. And this is why this country is going down the tubes. We don't know what our history is. We don't know what the foundations of our country are. We don't know the Judeo-Christian foundations of our country, as Burgess Owens was talking about his great-grandfather, I think it was, or maybe great-great-great-grandfather. Anyway, the one who was a slave, who got out with the Underground Railroad, got to Texas, got land, paid it off in a couple of years, started a church and so forth. That was a key part of his foundation in history. And as he said, is that I could have talked about not just about black history, but I could have talked about white history together with black history. That allowed us to move forward because we always had a great heart, he said in an interview afterwards. He said, we're supposed to imagine the history that the Democrats feed us. as if we went from slavery and getting emancipated to the 1960s when the Democrats allowed us to vote finally. And in between, said Burgess Owens, we're supposed to have been a hapless and hopeless race, waiting for the oppressive white people to free us. That's not the case. Yeah, freedom is never given. It's always taken. And they deserve credit for taking their freedoms. He said, we're talking about black and white issues, obviously. It's deeper than that. We have a great country because of our Judeo-Christian values, because we have a nation that literally learns to serve, and we see ourselves inside out, not outside in. But they are the enemies against that view. It's the Marxists and the socialists who hate God, who hate our way of life, and the way that they do that is by stealing our history. I want to get into this. Before I do, real quickly, I just want to remind you of the sales that we have at InfoWarsStore.com. We have an emergency sale right now to help us stay afloat. And we have discounted all of our InfoWars Life products 50% off, plus there's free shipping, and double the Patriot points for future discounts for future purchases. So that's 50% off all the InfoWars Life products. That's all the vitamins, minerals, health supplements like that. Folks, if you're taking vitamins and minerals, you're not going to find any higher quality supplements anywhere. Things like BioTrue Selenium, for example. We all know that selenium is a very, very important supplement. And having proper amounts of selenium has been, in study after study, an indicator of a declining risk in many, many different types of diseases. But the question is not whether or not selenium is good for you. It's whether or not you've got a good source of it. Our source of selenium, we call it BioTrue because it is non-GMO. It's an organic selenium. So you're not going to find any better quality and you're not going to find any better price than right now. 50% off all these products, free shipping, and double Patriot points. We also have the 8-pack Power Stack, 50% off. That's this right here. It's a power pack that is set up for both AM and PM use. So inside the packaging here, you'll see which supplements you take in the morning, which ones you take in the evening, because that makes a difference. Some supplements are going to wake you up. You don't want to take them at night. Some you want to take, that are going to help you to go to sleep. So you take those at night. So it's set up that way. It is now 50% off, and you get Ultra 12, our vitamin B12 supplement. You get one of those for free. All right, don't forget to follow me at Libertarian. We have you can subscribe on YouTube, share the videos there. It's Liberty, Libertarian, not Libertarian, but Libertarian. So subscribe and share on YouTube. You can also follow me, the same handle there on Twitter. Don't forget to retweet. Okay, let's go back to Burgess Owens, and I want to talk about Pete Buttigieg as well, because see, the Marxists like Bill Ayers, the Marxists like Pete Buttigieg, really understand what the strength of our country is. The strength of our country is our history, our unity. It is our Christianity, our Judeo-Christian history, as he points out. And that's where they go to destroy it. I just read what Burgess Owens had to say about destroying our history, white and black. Just take a look at what they're doing at the University of Oregon. They want to take down a picture of an American pioneer, not a picture, a statue of an American pioneer. It has to be eradicated. It's too oppressive to have a statue of a pioneer. This is a guy that's dressed in plain clothes, walking with something slung over his shoulder. They said, this is framing of history from only one culture's perspective. Yeah, it's from the American culture's perspective. This is honoring the people who helped to build America. See, what they want to do is they want to tear America apart by having everybody see themselves as a separate group that has no connection to anything else. And the key thing that when they're tearing down a civilization, the final step is to take down the monuments to the people who built that civilization. Just an anonymous pioneer. They can't come back and say, well, that pioneer had slaves. No, the people who set up Oregon didn't have slaves. Oh, well, he was a white man and there were Indians here first. The Indians didn't build the civilization that we currently live in. The Indians didn't build the civilization that everybody is kicking the borders down to get into. This is a civilization that was built by Indians, by white people, by black people, by all these different Hispanics, everybody. This is the civilization we have. This is a monument to this civilization that everybody wants to be a part of. And so this report by NPR says, well, this is a symbol of the oppression of Native Americans. That is the divide and conquer. Yes, this is the myth that people believe, that this was an uninhabited, uncivilized land. No, we don't believe that. We don't teach that. It's just that we created, there was a civilization here before. We created this civilization. This is a monument to the civilization we created. You want to tear down the monuments to this civilization because you want to tear down this civilization. And you want to tear down and deconstruct the roots of that. And that's what we can see in this report. It came out at the beginning of June when, it's Politico, when Pete Buttigieg ripped America's missionary zeal. No, it's when he ripped Christianity. See, Buttigieg went to Harvard. And just as Burgess Owens was talking about how the black leaders, the elitist black leaders, they rose up to the top and they just started taking care of themselves and they undermined the rest of the black community. Well, here's a guy who never really was in that particular situation. This is a guy lecturing us on American history. His parents weren't Americans. They were Marxists, both his mother and father, proud Marxists, Marxist professors. And he went to Harvard. And he studied under an individual called Sakvan Berkovich, also not an American, also a Marxist, a Canadian, a Jewish Canadian who went to Harvard to lecture everybody to deconstruct Christianity. Where did he get his name, Sakvan? He put together the two names, Sacco and Vanzetti. These are two Italian, they call them anarchists. They were two Italian Marxists. Yeah, they were anarchists. They wanted to destroy society just like Buttigieg and his league do. They were two Italian anarchist Marxists who were executed for murder back in 1927. They are lionized and worshipped by the left just like Che Guevara. And this guy who was the mentor of Buttigieg, as if he needed one, with a Marxist college professor as a father and a Marxist mother, this guy took their names together, combined them, and called himself Sakvan because that's his heroes. And he talked about the Puritan origins of the American self, deconstructing Christianity, deconstructing America.
You're listening to The David Knight Show.
It's never been easy to figure out the essentials of a new supplement routine. That's why we created the 8-Pack Power Stack, your go-to option for the building blocks of a successful approach to supplementation. This one-stop shop for those looking to simplify or adjust their routine is perfect for new and old info warriors alike. With the 8-Pack Power Stack, there's no trial and error, messy bottles laying across the counter, or 20-minute morning habits. Just take the Wake Up and Work or Rest and Recover packs each day for quick, easy-to-use, and conveniently accessible formulas to help you reach your peak without the deep supplement knowledge, stacks of bottles, and complicated routine. Featuring 8 different formulas for a total take on your health and wellness. You can find what you like and get even more powerful versions in the store. Head to InfoWarsStore.com and check out 8-Pack Power Stack today and jumpstart your supplement routine.